A few months back, through Nike, we came across our next speaker, Marshall Clemens of Idiagram, who has started to map the broader system of capitalism. Marshall, we very much look forward to what you have to say, because our sense is that until we map this thing, we're going to find it very difficult to know where the acupressure points are.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to share with you this morning a small constellation of systemic factors, effects that we see coming up often in the kind of complex sustainability challenges that we work on. We see these clearly in the work we've been doing with Nike, looking at how they remove toxics from their supply chain and looking at their materials production system. And we create these systems maps. This is, wow, you cannot see that very well. And I won't go into it at all except to say that what you're looking at is the organizations in the supply chain connected together through their various interactions, supported by the natural environment, and surrounded by these various stakeholders who influence and control how this production system operates. And what we tend to see working on this kind of complex problem is that, first of all, there's the sheer complexity of the system, which makes it difficult, cognitively difficult for people to understand how it all works. In addition, we know we're going to have to work with multiple stakeholders, people who come from different parts of the system and who know about or influence or control different aspects of the system. And those people that we work with, they may not all be friendly collaborators. Some of them may be our competitors. They may be our business or political or ideological adversaries we may need to work with if we're going to effectively address the problem. And therefore, we need some pre-competitive collaboration. This is the idea we need to move from our normal space of zero-sum competition to a new arena of non-zero-sum collaboration. And that movement up to this higher level of integration and collaboration is really crucially important if we're going to overcome these two pervasive system effects. The first one, systemic irrationality, is also known as the tragedy of the commons, where the sum of our individual self-interest maximizing decisions doesn't sum to overall system success, but to system failure. So individual rationality translates into systemic irrationality. And there's a closely related phenomena of systemic lock-in, which means that it is often very difficult to initiate systems change because there is no first mover advantage. Often there's only disadvantage to the first mover, so an actor who'd like to take unilateral action to do the right thing finds there's really no incentive to do so. And technology is not necessarily going to save us. Although technology may be absolutely core to the ultimate solution, I don't think lack of technology is the problem, because it's quite evident that people are actually very, very good at inventing and deploying new technologies if the proper incentives are there for them to do so. But it's not so evident that we're going to be able to summon the kind of cultural and political and economic and philosophical environments in which those needed technologies can grow and thrive. So to address these issues and others, what we're looking for is a coherent strategy. That's a strategy that looks to work with the system rather than against it, that looks for the key leverage points and these key feedback loops that will begin to drive this system in the direction we would like it to move. And in addition, we need to get those various stakeholders aligned and working together synergistically rather than just disconnectedly or perhaps at cross purposes. And finally, we need a reality check to make sure that the strategy we're proposing is actually a viable, realistic way forward. And for that, we need a stakeholder-centric perspective. And what that means is looking at the incentive structures, the motivations, the choice architecture, the behavioral economics that influences and constrains those actors' behavior. I think you'll see if we zoomed out from this particular supply chain issue, if you think about our macroeconomic system overall, you would see many of these same factors at work in the iron cage of capitalism in which we find ourselves currently trapped. And our hypothesis is that if we can get better at dealing with complexity, at addressing some of these very deep systemic mechanisms that are driving our economic behavior, we'll be more effective at driving with speed and scale the kind of new business models and the kind of new economic structures that we really need. And we're looking at doing just that, trying to apply this kind of systemic analysis and mapping and strategic thinking to our macroeconomic system. So if that's something that anybody finds interesting or has ideas on or has an opinion about why that's a inane or superfluous or fabulous idea, please come find us. So we'd love to talk about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matt. Thank you.